Now, this is going to be more of a rant type of video, so it's not going to have much editing, it's not going to have, like, as much structure as my other videos have, but this is going to be talking about an issue which I've just not seen a lot of people talk about. And this has been an issue which has pretty much been present the entire time Forsaken has been out. I don't see enough people talking about this. I don't, like, for the entire time I've played this game, and I've been playing this game from, like, January 2025 to December, January. And I don't really see anybody talking about this issue. And I guess at, like, on the surface level, it doesn't seem like an issue. But once you actually get into it, and once you start thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, this isn't good. And what I'm really talking about here is how just leaking so much shit at the start of the game's life, leaking so many characters, and just leaking so many, like, I guess to an extent, collaborations as well. Leaking all of that. And how it's kind of just shot Forsaken in the foot, because realistically, like, okay, I used to put this into, like, retrospectively. This is the best way I can put it. So, Forsaken's entire lifespan, well, ever since Forsaken has released, it has released a total of 7 characters. 4 of those being survivors, and 3 of those being killers. And on the surface, that might seem fine, and I would agree. I would agree that is fine, because I feel like that's just a generally good pace of how characters should come out, and just, like, lets the characters settle in. But that's not really what I'm getting at here. Because of how much stuff they leaked at the start of, like, Forsaken's life, and I think I'll put on screen just how much was leaked, and, like, the killers which were leaked, and just how much stuff was leaked. The amount of the amount of, like, characters released kind of just pales in comparison when compared to that, and it just really makes you realize that, oh, this isn't really good pace at all. And, like, okay, once you compare it, like, it might not seem too bad, and it's like, I would agree, but at the same time, what you need to think about is that, because of how much stuff they have leaked, and to the amount of characters they have released, like, it's not really a good proportion, because, like, I think what people don't realize is that, because of how much stuff they have leaked, they kind of have to, like, stick within what they have leaked. And the reason why I say this is because, like, once you leak a character, for example, people are going to be hyped for that character. I mean, that's just obvious, you know. I'd say we're all, like, decently hyped for a lot of the upcoming killers coming out, or maybe there's just one. Like, you get the idea, right? People become interested, they become excited. But then, once you start leaking even more stuff, then, you know, you kind of have to stay within that range. Otherwise, people are just not going to be interested in, like, other characters or, like, other killers which might be added. And, I mean, this has literally happened in the game. When I first saw people theorize, this was, like, in the Halloween event, and now when, like, Sixer was just released, and, like, everyone was excited, because Sixer and Veronica, like, you know, it was exciting. But then, people started to theorize that the final reward for the Halloween event would be a killer. And I think the previously mentioned issues I've stated start to arise when a lot of the people were suspecting characters which are already on the leaked roster, and, like, one of these, like, the main one I saw was Azure. And, like, that might seem fine. But at the same time, what you need to realize is that it kind of shows that the community's, like, what they want. What they, you know, I wouldn't say desperately want, but, like, what they want is the leaked roster. And so when it didn't actually end up being any of the leaked characters, but instead a kind of what a lot of people seem like as a random addition, which was Noseratu, and a lot of people, like, so many people's, like, interest and, like, hype just instantly died, because it wasn't a character which was leaked. Like, it wasn't a character which had previously been leaked beforehand, and so they just hadn't built hype around it. And I think this is a pretty big issue, because, like, okay, people are expecting these characters now, and because they're expecting these characters, any character which isn't in this pool of characters is pretty much just going to be instantly denied. And this is exactly what happened with Noseratu. Like, personally, I think it could have been very interesting if Noseratu was, like, maybe released at a better time, because I feel like a lot of more people have just generally cared about him. Like, I think it was such an interesting concept to just randomly release a killer and be like, oh yeah, he's just in the game now. And I think that would have been cool if it wasn't for the fact that Forsaken had already leaked so much shit beforehand, to the point where people only wanted what they were already, like, promising they would provide. And so because they failed on that promise, Noseratu just became kind of a forgotten killer. Like, I don't really see that many people talking about him. He's, like, maybe there are like some statistics which like prove me wrong in this, but I just don't see anybody talking about this guy, bro. Like, I see so many people calling this guy like a random kid, and I just see so many people just so surprised that he's even in the game, because of like people just view him as like an OC. Like, people don't even view him as like an actual character. And like at the end of the day, like all characters are like original creations. Like this one, to most people, definitely just felt as if like it was just a random insert, and like I can't even blame people too much for that. Like, once you have so many of these leaked killers, like, you want them. Like, you know, you you build an interest around them and you want the characters. So then when you don't get given that, it just makes the thing you've gotten a lot less special. And this can just create like so many issues for the Forsaken developers. And I think the most prominent one is that it just limits so much creative freedom for like the Forsaken developer team as a whole. They wanted to do something interesting with Noseratu by releasing it early, and I think, you know, I would agree, that's a pretty interesting idea. But no one cared because of what they already did previously. And I'm pretty sure the Forsaken developers have already realized that this is bad, because I swear we don't get nearly as many leaks now. But, you know, it's still going to affect them till this day, because people have now, like, have centered their wants around this, and so if they try to do anything else, if they try to, like, maybe add some more concepts, it's probably not going to be nearly as liked. And that's just kind of, like, upsetting to me. Because I think Noseratu had a pretty decent idea. Like, he was, like, based off of an old bundle. You know, he was a cool part of the Halloween event. He was, like, the shopkeeper. And, like, you know, you'd think there'd be so much more interest for the character because of that. But no, because people just wanted what they've already been presented. At least I think. And in my opinion at least, I think this is definitely the case. Because I feel like if people didn't see Azure, people didn't see, I guess, other characters such as like Charlatan, then it would have just been better. His release would have been so much better. I feel like so many more people would have cared about him, and I think the Forsaken developers to an extent would have cared more too, because Noseratu has 4 skins ever since his release. Like, I feel like it was already kind of obvious that they themselves didn't even care, bro. And like, you know, if the Forsaken developers don't even care, then like, who are they expecting to care, man? And like, I think that's the main thing. That's the main issue I have. You can't expect people to care when you just released so much of this. When you like leaked so much, and you don't even care yourself, probably. Am I really to be blamed for thinking that? Like, what is it? Like 5 skins ever since its release? It's not great at all. And I don't know why they started leaking so much in the first place. I don't get why they didn't want to keep that level of ambiguity, that level of, like, you know, mystery. Because, like, again, bro, just because you haven't leaked anything, that doesn't mean there isn't, like, mystery there. Like, there's still a lot of mystery. There's still a lot of, like, I guess maybe not hype, but people theorizing, like, who's the next, like, killer, who's it gonna be. Like, you know, I guess to a certain extent we have that, but it's just a lot, like, less, because we have a range of killers, and there's more likely to be certain killers which, like, are more favored. So it's like, I don't know. I think this is, like, kind of an issue, and it just kind of means that people don't really care about the other characters, and, like, if the Forsaken devs aren't really going to push that, then it's just going to create a mess. And I don't get why this was done. Maybe it was because Soul, back in the day, thought they'd be able to get, like, characters out a lot faster. And the main reason why I think this is because they believe Noli would release at around February, like you know, midway through February in 2025. And Noli was released in July. Compared to the halfway through February, that's a 4-month gap. So I don't know, maybe it was because they thought they would be able to produce killers like a lot faster, and so they didn't think they'd run into the issue where they'd just have a stockpile of killers they'd have to work through. And maybe I could see that, but again, you know, you still shoot yourself in the foot by doing this, and I think the best way the Forsaken devs can combat this now is to just kind of get a lot of the most hyped up characters in this pool of characters just like in the game, like not as fast as they can, because I still think there should be a gap, but they should definitely be the focus, because then you just have more creative freedom. And it's going to take time, of course, but I think in the long run of the game it's going to just help you overall, and it's not going to create another Noseratu issue where literally nobody cares. So I mean, yeah, that's mainly just kind of like my rant about this issue, because I feel like, again, people don't really talk about this enough. I don't see anybody talking about this, and it's like, I don't see why more people don't talk about this issue. I feel like this is a very prominent issue in the Forsaken community right now, and just the game as a whole, because it just limits what can be added into the game. So yeah, that's my little video. This is probably gonna be released before the map tier list, so you should be expecting that. I just got a little bit lazy, to be honest, so that's how I made this video first before the map tier list, and I apologize because the map tier list is gonna be kind of a behemoth of a video because it's just what 24 maps. So yeah, but I hope you enjoyed this rant, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe, and if you didn't, then report my channel, dislike me, dislike this video, and tell your friends that I am the worst YouTuber of all time. I don't know, but yeah, thank you for watching. Support is really appreciated, and the map tier list should be out soon. So yeah.